These are all the materials that you're going to need for this project. Start with a stack of printer paper and the vinyl of your choice. What I chose was called Red Neochrome Chameleon vinyl. I purchased 12-inch by 48-inch. It should be more than enough to cover the taillights and help if I have any goof ups. It was only like $8, so not bad. Cleaner wax that you like, set of new razor blades, a Sharpie, a credit card or a squeegee if you have one for tinting. Those will be used to push down the vinyl evenly. Set of scissors, utility knife, and a microfiber towel. To apply the wax, I'm just going to go ahead and put my microfiber in there. Just circle it on the lights real nicely. We're only trying to cover the red plastic parts. It doesn't hurt to get the black around it at all either, simply because there could be dust there. And as you're laying the film, if there's dust, it's going to pick it up. So I just put that on there. I'll come back in about 15 minutes once it's all dry, and I'll clean them up nicely and should pull anything out that we don't want. Now that the wax is dried, I'm going to come back and just pull it all off. As I do that, I'm going to make sure that I get all the creases. There's a lot of little divots in here. One of the things you always want to do with a vinyl or tinting project is try and make the three-dimensional project into a two-dimensional project. So the next step is going to be creating a template for our vinyl out of this three-dimensional shape that we have. That's where the printer paper comes in. Grab a piece of printer paper. I cut about a third off of it. What we're going to do is we're going to take this three-dimensional light and we're going to think, how can we lay this flat over that light? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that and lay it flat over the light. And where it's no longer flat, I'm going to crease the paper. I'm going to wrap it all the way around. You can see on the front here, on the bottom, I'm starting to come along a crease. And then on the back, I just want to push that in so I can feel the crease on the back as well. And it's okay, it's a little messy, right? We're just trying to make a template, so it doesn't have to be perfect right now. You can see now I've got two of the templates laid down. This is what the third one looks like. What I've done is I wrapped that paper around there, found the creases, drew it all out around the entire thing, and then I just cut that out. I've labeled these 1, 2, and 3 so that we just have a point of reference. But as you can see, when I lay that down on that light, all the creases, this just lays nice and flat around those. This will keep us from wasting vinyl as we put this together. The really nice thing about having these templates as well is when you take them and you fold them out flat, as you're cutting your vinyl, what you can do is you can lay them down on the roll and see how the pieces fit together so you minimize the waste that you're using. I pulled the templates off the tail light and I'm getting ready to put them into the vinyl. One of the things that you'll notice is as we cut these and we crease the taillights, we came around the edge with this piece of paper to make a three-dimensional object two-dimensional. One of the things I noticed the first time I did this was as you wrap that vinyl around the other side, on the back of those lights it becomes very difficult to remove all the fingers from the taillights. You also don't really even notice that there's tint back there. So my recommendation would be get your template and then take a ruler and draw a straight line across the back here, and we'll cut the templates and the vinyl right there. It does two things. It saves vinyl and it saves brain damage. Trying to get back there and iron out all the wrinkles and bubbles and stuff, it doesn't work with the size of your fingers and it doesn't look nice. So I've rolled out my vinyl film. I put my templates down flat on top of it. A couple of key things that you want to take away here is you definitely need to make a template for each of the 3 taillight pieces and label them. They're not the same size. The angle of the camera might not show that. The first time I did this though, I was kind of a dork and I used the same template for all of the lights and ended up cutting too much vinyl the wrong size. So definitely make a template for each of the 3 lights. The other thing you want to keep in mind is number them, because when you number them, you have a front and you have a back to that template. You want to take the front of the template and you want to transfer that to the front of the vinyl that you want shining out. Don't turn over the vinyl because you're going to have a mirrored image of what you want to do. So really you have to take each of the templates that you've made and just transfer that with the Sharpie on top of the vinyl, and that'll give us what we're going to cut out of the vinyl and lay over the tail lights. Now if you do accidentally, you turn over the vinyl or something like that, The saving grace on that is that these taillights are a mirror image of each other. So you could use it on the other side of the car. The catch is that if you've already done the other side of the car, then you're out of luck. So you can see there, I just transferred that, the third template, to the vinyl here, and then I'm going to cut along the inside of that Sharpie line so that it disappears, and we can lay that over taillight number 3. Go ahead and test fit your templates here on taillight number 1. This is the film that I've cut from the template for it. What we're looking for is, does this line up with the gaps? Does it have full coverage of the entire light? When I first set this in here, what you'll notice is on the very bottom here, it kind of cuts off. And that's just because of the way that I've laid it in here. A lot of times you can fix that just by angling it a little bit differently. And you can see now I've got a little bit of a crunch here where, based on this test fit, I'm just going to have to cut it off a little bit in here to fill it in there, fill in that gap, and be able to cover the bottom surface of this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shave off just a little bit right here. I'm going to test fit again, make sure it's good before I peel off the backing on this and lay down the film. So I've got the test fit recut. When I lay this in here, I've now got full coverage over the bottom of the tail light, and it goes up and along the sides and around the top as well. One of the things I've learned from doing this is it's better to have just a little bit too little than too much, because what will happen if you have too much is you'll come over that crease, and as you're laying it down and you're trying to squeeze all the bubbles and everything out of the tint, that will really be your fighting enemy. So what you got to do is, it's better to have an invisible line where this film is too short than it is to have it cut over. The other recommendation I have is, as you cut these templates, always round out your corners. If you have real harsh edges, those are more likely to catch the wind as you're driving and begin to pull the tint off or begin to allow dirt underneath it, and it looks real bad when you do that. So this is ready to go. The next step is to get the templates ready for the other 2 lights, and we'll go from there. Now is a good time to clean your taillights again. Get your microfiber cloth and some real hot water. The hot water will help it evaporate quickly. Go ahead and go over those taillights. This is a good time. It'll show you any wax you might have missed before. It's definitely whitened up now because it's had some time to sit. That hot water will help with dust and pulling that off those taillights. That's definitely your first enemy here. Your second one is wind. If you can get the vehicle in a garage of some kind, great. That helps out a ton. And really the third and final thing that you want to keep out of your tint as you're laying it down is your hair. If you got a beanie or a hat of some kind to put on your head, keep your hair out from there. It'll just save you the frustration of trying to figure out what to do if it ends up on the back of your film. Now I've got this cleaned up again. We're going to start laying down some vinyl. Once you got your templates cut out, you got your tail lights clean again, it's time to lay down that vinyl. What you want to do is you want to work from the hardest part to the easiest part as you're laying it down. In that case, that's the outside of these lights right here towards the straight line right here. The reason why is, with that rounded edge in the template the way we have it, this side is going to be a lot more forgiving if we have an angle that's messed up. So what I've done is I've peeled back the first layer of the tint here, and I've really creased the backing on it so that we can use a method where we pull it back just as we need that adhesive. So line up your tint on there. Make sure that that adhesive stays creased, and we still have room to move here, right? We want to make sure that we have full coverage over the bottom. We're lined up with all of our edges on the sides, and then once we're certain, we can go ahead and we can nail down the adhesive around the edge right there, and then we can reach back there since we creased that and come outward along this light with just our finger as we go. It makes it very easy. I recommend doing your finger just on the first run like this, just up and down very patiently. The feeling that you have in your finger is incredible, as opposed to just taking a squeegee and trying to lay it down all at once. You're going to feel if there's air bubbles, you're going to feel if there's any dirt in there, and you're visually going to notice it as well. And so you can just reach behind there, grab that adhesive film, only pull it back as you're laying it down as you need to, and you can see, because we have that two-dimensional template, we are not running into any troubles at all right now. We're not having any bubbles, we're not having any fingers. We're just gonna keep going. There you can see I had to stretch that out a little bit, but that all flattens out as you keep going. So I'm gonna finish this one and get the other two done as well. I did mention on the first pass it's good to do it just with your finger to make sure that you've got everything down as you're going. Go ahead and take your credit card or your squeegee if you have one and push everything down. When you used your finger, you didn't engage all of the adhesive that was in here. What this will do is it'll make up for that. It evenly engages all the adhesive that's on the other side of that film. So just run it over. If you have something that's got a nice edge on it, like this tinting squeegee, you can really get those edges and lock those in tight as well. I have a couple cleanup things on this here. The first you can see is down here at the bottom. I just got to take a nice razor blade, cut that off. And then there's actually a third layer of film that goes over this. It's just like a little piece of saran wrap. So you can take your fingernail, rub it real hard, you'll see that, and you can pull it up.